100 amazing facts around the world.
Bears don't urinate while they hibernate. Their body converts the urine into protein, and they use it as food. Flamingos are naturally white. Their brine shrimp and algae diet make them pink. Slave maker ants will take over the nest of other ants, and when the new ants hatch, they become slaves of the colony. If a planet has a closer orbit to the Sun than Earth, like Mercury and Venus, it is called an inferior planet. If a planet has a broader orbit to the Sun than Earth, it is known as a superior planet. The praying mantis is the only insect that can turn its head. Gene Hackman was originally going to play Hannibal Lecter. QWERTY keyboards were invented partially to slow down how fast you could type. This was because people were typing too fast and jamming their typewriters. J.R.R. Tolkien coined the word tween in The Hobbit. He used it to describe hobbits in their reckless age period. Mexico has the highest annual average hours worked of any country. If you listen to the radio waves from Uranus, it sounds like rustling trees. Play-Doh was created as a wallpaper cleaning putty to remove coal dust in the 1930s. Napoleon Bonaparte wrote a romance novel called Clisson et Eugenie. It was a fictional account of the doomed romance of a soldier and his lover and was based on Bonaparte's relationship with Eugenie Desiree Clary. Barack Obama was the first sitting U.S. president to visit Hiroshima. Bananas are the most widely eaten fruit in the United States. Apples are second. Leonardo DiCaprio was named Leonardo because his pregnant mother was looking at a Leonardo da Vinci painting in Italy when he first kicked. The famous torrent site Pirate Bay once tried to buy its own island to make their own country with no copyright laws. The Filipino flag is flown with its red stripe up in times of war and blue side up in times of peace. A group of giraffes is called a tower. Because Venus looks so beautiful in the sky, it was named after the Roman goddess of beauty. When you move your eyes, your eardrums also move. On average, humans remember 5,000 different faces. During the lifespan of a human, enough saliva can be created to fill up 2 swimming pools. Coca-Cola only sold 25 bottles its first year. Today, it sells 1.8 billion bottles a day. Donald Duck comics were banned from Finland because he isn't wearing any pants. Tourists throw over €1 million into the Trevi Fountain in Rome each year. The city uses this money to fund a supermarket for the poor. I am is the shortest English sentence. The bloodiest battle of the American Civil War was the Battle of Gettysburg, which left approximately 46,000 to 52,000 dead in Pennsylvania. The average U.S. citizen eats 35 tons of food every year. Galileo discovered Saturn's rings. Unfortunately, his telescope wasn't advanced enough for him to figure out what they were. There are 2 states which are not physically connected to any of the other 48 states. These are Alaska and Hawaii. About 63% of the prison population in the United States is unable to read. The United States has not been without a national debt since January 8, 1836. There are more life forms living on your skin than people on the planet. In fact, most of the time we have over 90 trillion microbes living on us. George Washington had teeth made from walrus and elephant tusks, and not wood as is popularly thought. Kermit the Frog was based upon his creator's best friend when he was growing up in Leland, Mississippi. The first successfully established permanent English settlement of the New World was Jamestown in Virginia in 1607. The American animator Walt Disney originally named his famous cartoon character Mortimer Mouse, but his wife persuaded him to change his first name to Mickey. New Hampshire was the first state to declare its independence from England. It declared independence 6 months before the Declaration of Independence was signed. During your lifetime, you will spend around 79 days brushing your teeth. In 1998, Sony accidentally sold 700,000 camcorders that had the technology to see through people's clothes. Kleenex tissues were originally used as filters in gas masks. Parascapdecatriaphobia is the fear of Friday the 13th. Giraffes who have dark spots are more dominant than those with light spots. James Cameron drew that charcoal of naked Kate Winslet in the movie Titanic. There's a museum of broken relationships in Croatia. Samuel L. Jackson requested a purple lightsaber in Star Wars in order for him to accept the part as Mace Windu. 4 people lived in a home for 6 months infested with about 2,000 brown recluse spiders, but none of them were harmed. Each year there are more than 40,000 toilet-related injuries in the United States. Valentine's Day has its roots in an ancient pagan festival. A goat called William Windsor served as a lance corporal in the British Army. Paul Schrader wrote Taxi Driver in 2 weeks. In 1900s, about 100 waiters in Chicago were imprisoned for poisoning customers who tipped badly. Aerosmith have made more money from Guitar Hero than from any of their albums. Pablo Escobar had to write off 10% of his cash holdings because of rats nibbling away at his huge stash of banknotes. Taking cocaine increases the chance of having a heart attack within the hour by 2,400%. Despite the fact that it's nicknamed the Red Planet, Mars is butterscotch brown. The average pencil can write 45,000 words, or a single line 35 miles long. A lethal dose of chocolate for a human being is about 22 pounds or 40 bars of Cadbury's Dairy Milk. General Electric is the only company remaining from the original Dow Jones Index of 1,896. Since then it has had fewer than half as many CEOs as the Vatican has had popes. Kim Il-sung, founder of North Korea, was born on the day the Titanic sank. Kim Il-sung's grandson, Jong-nam, was sacked as heir after being arrested trying to enter Japan on a false passport to visit Disneyland. Bacteria and amoebas are far more different from each other than amoebas are from people. There are 10,000 times as many photographs on Facebook as there are in the U.S. Library of Congress. In 1568, the Catholic Church condemned the entire population of the Netherlands to death for heresy. Pet rats sold big after Ratatouille. The wallet in Pulp Fiction was Quentin Tarantino's. The longest that anyone has ever survived in a shipwrecked raft was 133 days by a Chinese man named Poon Lim in 1942. Popcorn was discovered as an accident by the Aztec Indians. One day on Neptune lasts for 16 hours and 6 minutes. The propulsion system used on subway trains was derived from the technology used in elevators. The most common first name in the world is Muhammad. Tiffany's, the luxury jewelry store, was founded before Italy was even a country. Toto earned more than the Munchkins on The Wizard of Oz. The most profitable film of all time is Paranormal Activity. John Travolta is actually pulling the needle out of Uma Thurman's chest. Pluto will complete just one orbit of the Sun since its discovery in 2117. The average person loses 7 ounces of water a day in their feces. You go white when really scared because blood drains from your skin. In Wales, rook pie was considered a tasty way to get rid of a bird that might otherwise eat the crops. Small songbirds cooked and eaten whole have been so popular in Italy that many types have been wiped out completely. The British black pudding is a sausage made of congealed pig's blood with lumps of fat embedded in it. It is often fried and eaten for breakfast. There were 10,297 balloons in Up. The Scottish dish haggis is made by cutting up the heart, lungs, liver, and small intestine of a calf or sheep and cooking it with suet, oatmeal, onions and herbs in the animal's stomach. It is said that the cursed mummy of Egyptian Princess Amenare was on board the Titanic when it sank in 1912, killing 1,500 people. When King Philip of Spain died in 1560, his devastated wife would not allow him to be buried, but had his coffin accompany her everywhere. The chemical phosphorus was discovered by German chemist Henning Brandt in 1669. He made it by leaving urine to rot and then heating it until liquid evaporated. A will-o'-the-wisp is a flame of burning marsh gas that appears in boggy areas at night. It has lured many travelers to a muddy death when they have left the path to follow it, believing it to be someone with a light. 252 million years ago, water on Earth was pink. The Terracotta Army is a collection of more than 8,000 clay soldiers, chariots, and horses that took around 37 years to make. On average, brunettes have less hairs on their head compared to red-haired and blondes. George Lucas' dog inspired Chewbacca. The wars between Romans and Persians lasted about 721 years, the longest conflict in human history. Jupiter's overall mass is 2.5 times greater than every planet in the solar system. Eiffel Tower designer Gustave Eiffel included a secret apartment for himself near the top, where he would entertain elite members of the science community. The United Kingdom and Portugal hold the longest-standing alliance in the world, which started 1,386 years ago. A woman once took part in a search for a missing tourist in Iceland only to realize hours later that she was indeed the missing person. Steve Jobs had a high school GPA of 2.65. Panama hats are actually made in Ecuador, not Panama. Actor Tommy Lee Jones and Vice President Al Gore were freshman roommates at Harvard. Mercury has the most elliptical orbit around the Sun. This means that Mercury's distance from the Sun varies the most. Samsung, the manufacturer of TVs, home appliances, and of course cell phones, started off as a grocery store.
World Top 20.
Thanks for watching.
For more videos, please like the video, comment below, and subscribe to the channel.
We wish you a fruitful day ahead.
And remember, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end.